when you talk about open doors, can you talk about that with respect to Halloween and what that causes to our society, as a detriment and to people individually?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I've been waiting to answer this, and some people may get upset with me, and I'm sorry for that. I don't mean to upset or offend anyone. However, the truth is the truth, and there is no substitute for it. So the truth of the matter is, I do not celebrate Halloween. And even as a child, I always had a bad feeling about it. Now, as a kid, I may have been trick-or-treating a couple times in my life. Never liked it, never had a good feeling about it, never knew why until I started on my journey of studies. And boy, let me tell you, Veronica, this is not a good day. This is not a celebration of our glorious God or his Son, the Messiah, our Savior. This is a celebration of evil. I'm sorry to say this. I'm going to read some things here, and for anyone who would dispute what I'm saying, I urge you to do the studies for yourself. I mean, this comes from encyclopedias. This comes from the Encyclopedia of Religion. This comes from other encyclopedias as well. And I urge you to do the studies. So I'm going to read something very quickly. I know we don't have a whole lot of time here, so I'll try and be as brief as possible. But let's look at the present day celebration of Halloween. It's a theme of darkness, death, fear, threats, destruction, and evil. There are witches, broomsticks, bats, owls, ghosts, skeletons, death, and monsters. Kids dress up as demons and witches and ghouls and monsters and werewolves. And, the parents send them out in the darkness to reenact the Druids' practice of demanding food from people under the threat of curses. So this is where trick-or-treat originated from. So they would go from house to house demanding all sorts of foods to offer to Samhain. That is the spirit Druids called the god of death, Samhain. So that's what this day is, a celebration of Samhain. And if the village people would not give them the foods, they would speak a curse over the home. History claims that when someone in the family would die within a year, this was the origin of trick-or-treats. So, again, we have these Druids that were going around doing this, and they believed, and what they did was they would carry with them a large turnip that had been hollowed out, and a face was usually carved on one side, and a candle was placed inside to provide light as they walked from house to house. The Druids believed that a spirit inhabited the turnips and helped the Druids carry out their spells. The name of the spirit was Jock, J-O-C-K. When the practice came to the 19th century, turnips were replaced with pumpkins. And Jock became Jack, who lives in the lantern, the Jack-o'-lantern. So, isn't this amazing that we see these bizarre practices and they're so popular? I mean, think about this. If people just took a second to step back and say, what in the world are we doing here? Why would anybody celebrate a holiday emphasizing the morbid or macabre, and darkness? Why? It makes no sense, and again, the Encyclopedia of Religion says Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, or Samhain, is a festival celebrated on the 31st of October, the evening prior to the Christian feast of All Saints' Day. Halloween is the name for the eve of Samhain, pronounced Samhain, a celebration marking the beginning of winter as well as the first day of the new year within the ancient Celtic culture of British Isles. The time of Samhain consisted of even the feast and the day itself, October 31st and November 1st.
Yeah.
Concerning Halloween, Encyclopedia of Religion continues, on this occasion it was believed that a gathering of supernatural forces occurred, as during no other period in the year and during the year. The eve and the day of Samhain were characterized as a time when the barriers between the human and the supernatural worlds were broken. Otherworldly entities such as souls of the dead were able to visit earthly inhabitants, and humans could take the opportunity to penetrate the domains of the gods and the supernatural creatures. The Celts had priests called Druids. On October 31st, the Druids went from house to house demanding certain foods, and again, if they were refused, then they would place a curse on that family or those people. Fiery tributes and sacrifices of animals, crops, and human beings were made to appease supernatural powers who controlled the fertility of the land. Samhain acknowledged the entire spectrum of non-human forces that roamed the earth during the period. And it goes on and on and on, just saying that they had huge bonfires were set on hilltops. Again, same practices that we see today. I mean, with people having parties and sending the kids out to trick or treat, things of that nature. It's just very sad because people just don't take the time to study anything. The world is made up of mostly followers. So it's very easy for the masses to be led, especially nowadays. You know, there's so many tricks on how to occupy the mind and have them looking one way when something else is going on the other way that they don't see. So there's very few leaders in the world, very few good leaders, and unfortunately some of the leaders we have are, in my opinion, part of the satanic seed line that is on this earth, that's been on this earth from the very beginning. And I feel that they are answering directly to Satan and his demons, and they are part of the miseries that are being heaped upon this world, and more so now than ever in my lifetime, that's for sure.
Yeah. Even one of the problems that goes on even today is child sacrifice. Kids get kidnapped this time of year, a month before.
Yeah.
And this actually goes on today. I've talked with people
so
and interviewed.
Right, and it's so sad. It literally makes me sick in my stomach just to think about something like that. This is really taking place. And again, I just wish that people would wake up. And even those who are doing this wickedness, I pray that they would just pause, take a thought of what they are doing, because they are not doing any service to God whatsoever, and it is literally going to cost them their soul.
Yeah. Well, and with that, I know there's a lot of Christians who do Halloween. I know when I was younger, and I don't want to say, I think a lot of it's lack of knowledge, but I think it creates open doors. You know, would you
No
agree?
question.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, and so somebody who could have a life of freedom winds up in oppression, depression this time of year, and they wonder, why am I depressed? And I think that the open door through Halloween might cause a lot of that. So.
And then it carries right on into, you know, the other holidays. You know, Thanksgiving and then Christmas and New Year, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It carries right on in that. And Satan deals in legalities. He deals in legal rights. So he can report to God and say, I can be in this person's life because of this, 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 and this. God will allow it. Why? Because of our free will.
Right. We have Dark Force Delivered. You said there was a third book out that I haven't read yet?
Oh, yes, and I'll have to send that to you. It's 10 Steps to Victory. 10 simple steps that you can take to have a wonderful and victorious life. Now, nobody's going to have a perfect life because we all have a set of problems and challenges. However, if you follow these 10 steps, I guarantee you your life will change for the better.